Okay, my aura is black, my garlic is roasted, and my orzo is toasted. Let's get started. So today I'm going to make some Italian greens, which is what I'm starting with. That is 2 bunches of escarole, and we're cleaning the shit out of it because it has a tendency to grow in between the soil in a weird way. So all that little dark stuff you see is going to be soil. Please clean it like you clean your collard greens. Hopefully you do that. And then the next thing you see is me cleaning a bunch of kale. So that's 3 bunches total. In this boiling pot, I have chicken broth and a bunch of salt-free seasoning. And once that starts to boil, we're just going to throw everything in there and cook it down. I gave it about 10 minutes, but if I was you, I would do like 15 because it still kind of had like a little bite to it. And I know a lot of people prefer it a bit softer. So after that, when it boils down, I threw in 1 block of frozen cabbage. I meant to say spinach. You're going to see me rinsing it in cold water and squeezing all of the water out of it. And in my pan, I'm going to do olive oil, and it's just got some left over because I threw it in there when I was draining it, and some garlic, and then we're just going to saute for quite a bit. I threw in probably 2 tablespoons of butter, and then that right there is chili, garlic, flaky sea salt, and a bunch of pepper, and a little bit more olive oil. I threw in a Hungarian hot pepper. This is the type of greens that you'll get like at a barbecue house. I don't know if this is just an Ohio thing. I've never really tried them anywhere else. I threw in some red pepper as well because they tend to be a little bit spicy, which I like. And they were very hard to stir because that is 3 bunches withered down into nothing. I threw in some roasted garlic seasoning and a bunch of shaker Parmesan because that's usually how I see it at the restaurant. But it was so good. I would definitely try this if I was you. I threw some more Parmesan on top, and then in that pan, I just sauteed that Hungarian hot pepper a little bit more and covered the rest with Parmesan. So now I'm going to start on my salmon. I just threw some olive oil, and I brushed it on there so every part was coated. And then I'm going to start with my seasonings. Oh, I dried it too, by the way. Please dry the salmon before you put it in the pan. I did some Kinder's roasted garlic, some zesty seafood rub, which is like my favorite thing to use on seafood, some paprika to give it some color and a little smokiness, and some more of that chili garlic salt too. And then I'm going to top it with a little bit more olive oil. I just used a capful, and then I just rubbed it in really good and made sure I could get into the little, like, I guess openings it has. In my pan, I just did some olive oil on high heat. I started skin side down and just let that sear, and I'm going to get started on my brown butter. I flipped it over once I started to see that it was starting to get a little crust on it and gave it some more time. And in this pan, I'm just browning the butter until it gets nice and toasty. Keep it moving, medium-high heat. And I added in some sage to start to give it some flavor. Here's my salmon all finished. It was beautiful. Then I took dry orzo and started to toast it in the pan with the sage-flavored brown butter. In my air fryer, I just threw in a red pepper and put it on the roast setting. And continuously, I'm going to keep stirring this orzo so it doesn't burn. And then I added my chicken broth. In my other pan, I just took the brown bits at the bottom and threw some Corona in there and let that lift up everything because that's going to be like a topping sauce with these shallots that I'm going to throw in there. I love shallots with seafood, so I definitely had to find a way to put that in there. And the little sauce, it didn't take long. I think I ended up throwing in some lemon juice and a little bit of seasoning. There's my orzo. It completely soaked up all of the broth, so I'm going to add in fresh sage, some more of that Kinder's roasted garlic, and my roasted red pepper. And this is with the heat off, and I'm just going to fold all of these things into it. I added in a little bit more chicken broth just to add like a sauce to it, and some freshly grated Parmesan. I got a new block, everybody. I was very excited about it. So then you can see at the bottom of the pan it starts to get like a thick sauce that kind of forms, but it'll all get soaked up. And then I just folded in some fresh parm right at the end. Not parm, I'm sorry, parsley right at the end. It was beautiful. This was my favorite part of the meal, was the orzo for sure. This is definitely going to be one of the sides I cook from now on. After my shallots cooked down, I just added a little bit more of that Corona and the lemon juice, like I said. And I did end up putting in some basil garlic flavored butter from Better Goods. It's at Walmart in the butter section. So here's my favorite fancy plate. I just threw all of the greens on top, and I put the Hungarian hot on the side and that beautiful piece of salmon, and then the orzo. And I had to be fancy, so of course I threw, oh yeah, my topping sauce too. I threw a lemon on there, a little twisty lemon, and I did end up throwing like some more Parmesan cheese on the orzo and the greens. And there was my plate, and this is by far one of my favorite meals so far. I've been seeing a lot of pan-seared salmon online, and I just kind of got a craving for it. I had some salmon when I went out of town with my daughter recently, and this is all I could think about. I was in the hotel thinking about this. And by the way, I'm on YouTube now. Miss Rita Love on YouTube. That's Rita with 2 T's. But until next time, please enjoy your food and have the day that you deserve. Thanks for watching.